170, 180. It's not every day we get invited to a racetrack by a manufacturer, so in times that they do, that means it's going to be a very special day. And if you already clicked on the title of this video, you already know what you're expecting. Yes folks, we're driving the all-new Civic Type R on the racetrack. Now before we head out to the track, let's do a quick walk around of the FL5 Civic Type R, shall we? Now there are those who quite like it, and there are those who say, well, it looks boring for a Type R. Those in Team FL5 say that it looks more mature, subtle, and there's like a subtle aggression in its styling. Like the extended fender flares and the creases on the bumpers. It's just more of a subtle hint that it is a performance car. But for those who side with the FK8 say that the Civic Type R should look aggressive, angry, and in your face. For me though, maybe I'm just getting old because I kind of prefer the look of the FL5. Now, here's my counterpoint, okay? When the EK9 came out, it didn't have big jutty wings or slashy styling or whatever. And that means the FL5 is a little bit more closely related in spirit to the EK9 than the FK8 is. For me, the FL5 is the type of car that lets its performance speak for itself rather than its exterior styling. This one, perhaps you could say, is a type of car that's maginoo pero medyo bastos. Okay, so the exterior is subtle by Type R standards, or, well, subtle in a good way. But what about the interior? Well, if you already own a Civic S, V, or RS, it should look familiar to you. The dash is actually a copy-paste of the more subtle and tamer sedans, but there are a few minor differences. So, for example, you actually get shift lights right up the top of the instrument cluster up here, and of course, just to make things a little bit more special, you even get a plaque right by the passenger side. But all in all, it is very Civic RS or V or S. The big difference here is, if you haven't already noticed, is red everywhere. From the carpets to the floor mats, and yes, these lovely bucket seats that I am sitting on right now. Well, it is an R after all, and it's always been associated with the color red. Even your seat belts are red as well. And of course, the Civic Type R comes with an honest-to-goodness 6-speed manual, just as the Lord intended. Anyway, this is a Civic we're still talking about, so it's still somewhat practical, which I shall now demonstrate when I move over to the back. As for the back, it is standard Civic fare. You get loads of legroom, loads of headroom, and it is actually pretty spacious back here. And you even get a decent cargo area thanks to its huge and squarish floor space. You'll also notice this. There's a pair of cup holders where someone would usually sit in the center. Now this makes the hatchback strictly a 4-seater, and you also don't get a center armrest, but quite frankly, who cares? Because, well, yeah, it's got decent space here at the back, so it kind of passes for a family car. But if you're buying a Type R for the sake of a rear armrest, cup holders, and etc. here at the back, then maybe you're looking at the wrong segment of vehicle. So we've said a couple of things about its design, interior, exterior. It's always going to divide opinion, but this is the most important bit. How is it on the racetrack? So it's time to throw on our helmet and get cracking. All right, now powered. It's so potent down the straights. We're doing 150, 160, 170, 180. And the slow down, really good anchors on this one. And into the gate we go. There's loads of steering feel here.
You don't need to go all the way out, halfway is good.
Okay. And thank God I'm getting instruction from Sir George. All the way in. Turn-in's really nice, really grippy down here. Yeah, but you can do full throttle exits on this one. It's a front-wheel drive, huh?
Yeah, so long as you came into it well. you come into it too fast, too hot, then wala rin.
Yeah, but
But if you come in, do it properly, and then coming in, then you can full throttle. And you're fine.
like as long as you don't drive it like a baboon, you're fine.
Exactly. Okay, brake. Stay to the left, stay to the left, stay to the left.
And turn in. This
Accelerate.
is so good.
Open up, that's it.
And this is probably one of the best front drives I've experienced in a while, huh?
Why do you think I'm smiling? Okay, slow down.
Honda sensing kicking in there.
Downshift. Okay.
And
Turn. Apex. Blue cone, you go. Okay, brake. Turn.
oh, that's nice rotation.
Okay. Slowly, slowly. Stay ahead. Turn in. Accelerate. Pull out. Okay. Turning in. Okay, in there. In on the blue and whites. Just brake, 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 brake. Ah, you overshot.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, no problem. See? We're in the wrong side of the road now. Snake, go all the way out. All the way out. Okay. Alright, good. Where's Louis? He's got your camera.
Yeah.
Slow down, slow down, slow down. Relax.
And exit. I apologize, folks, if I'm not able to talk so much. I'm having way too much fun in this car. As someone who's used to rear-wheel drive cars, I'd never thought I'd have this much fun in a front-wheel drive chassis. The front-wheel drive is normally associated with economy cars, but you gotta give it to Honda for making this new Civic Type R just as dynamic and just as brilliant to drive as an all-wheel drive car, or maybe even in some parts a rear-wheel drive car. I know that it's a bold claim, and I know you can't do skids or drifts in a front-wheel drive car, but you gotta believe me on this. The way the Civic Type R rotates around the bends is just beautiful. There's none of the usual understeer when you chuck a car into a corner and the car just plows straight forward. In this Type R, you just get none of that at all. And this chassis isn't just good for a front-wheel drive. This is legitimately a wonderful and playful chassis. And that's the thing that front-wheel drives don't usually have, that playfulness, that willingness to rotate, and the FL5 Type R just offers it in spades. Even at times I was kind of overspeeding through some of the corners. The car just didn't plow forward like a typical front-wheel drive. The rear just tucks in and follows the direction of the front end, and that is a very rare characteristic in a front-wheel drive car. And this is why I will boldly claim that the Civic Type R is perhaps one of the best or the best front-wheel drives out there. Now, those who say that the Civic Type R has gone soft over the years based on styling have obviously never driven the all-new FL5 Type R just yet. Yes, the Civic Type R is about the size of an Accord these days, and yes, it's about 400 kilos heavier than the original article, but the thing is, it still grips hard, it still packs a punch, and my god, it is still one of the most dynamic and capable front-wheel drive chassis we've ever come across. Heck, as I mentioned earlier, it even rotates a bit like a rear-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive car. But here's the thing. If we wind back the clock more than 25 years ago, you're gonna hear the exact same comments about that thing. Yep, the Civic Type R, same as before, and same as it always will be. Exciting, dynamic, and oh boy, it's got a legion of fans it has to please.